New York became the numismatic capital of the world as heritage auctions took center stage at the New York International Numismatics Convention. These are the world coin highlights that defined the Platinum Session auction. First introduced in 1847, the Gothic Crown marked a bold reimagining of British coinage at the very height of the Victorian era. Conceived by William Wyan, the design fused medieval revivalism with modern precision, presenting Victoria as a youthful sovereign crowned in Gothic splendor. It quickly became an icon of British numismatics, preserved here as a Proof 66 cameo in a PCGS slab. This superb gem captures the Gothic crown at its most luminous and enduring to sell at auction for $82,350. Born out of necessity, the Holey Dollar is Australia's first true coinage, created in 1813 amid chronic shortages in the young colony of New South Wales. Spanish silver dollars were cut and counterstamped to keep money from leaving the colony. The outer ring became a 5 shillings, and the inner part, known as a plug, became 15 pence, an ingenious solution to an urgent problem. This piece was struck over a Mexican 8 reales of Charles IV. This exceptionally preserved example ranks amongst the finest known at a grade of XF45 by NGC. It is a tangible relic of colonial improvisation and survival, which sold for $100,650 at auction. Struck from platinum, newly discovered in the Ural Mountains, this 6 rubles of Nicholas I represents a pioneering chapter in monetary history, when Russia alone dared to place platinum in everyday coinage. Issued in 1830, these pieces reflect imperial confidence in both metallurgy and state authority, at a time when few nations even understood the metal's potential. Rarer than the 3 rubles and overshadowed only by the massive 12-piece, this MS-67 example stands as a pristine survivor of the experiment, an immaculate relic from the reign of Nicholas I, which sold at auction for $146,400. Issued in 1826 at the height of Britain's post-Napoleonic confidence, the £5 of George IV stands as the grandest gold statement of the Regency era, with a mintage of just 150 coins. It was conceived not for commerce, but as a ceremonial expression of monarchy and state power. William Wyan's realized portrait, paired with Jean-Baptiste Merlin's sumptuous reverse, where the royal mantle flows with lifelike sculptural decadence, has turned this coin into an icon. Graded as Proof 64 cameo by NGC, it attained a final price at auction of $158,600. Struck in 1705, just barely 2 years before the Acts of Union, this Queen Anne 5th guinea comes from the final years of England's independent gold coinage, issued during a reign defined by war, chiefly the War of Spanish Succession, and the approaching union with Scotland. Pieces of this scale were instruments of state power as much as they were currency, remarkably proof-like in appearance. This example preserves a brilliance rarely seen on pre-Union gold, graded as AU58 proof-like by NGC. When it was offered at auction, it sold for a staggering $183,000. The 1866 Maximilian Peso is inseparable from one of the most dramatic chapters in Mexican history, the so-called Second Mexican Empire. Struck during a brief reign of Maximilian I of Mexico, it reflects an empire that would collapse almost as quickly as it appeared, lasting little over 3 years. Amongst all issues, the Guanajuato Mint stands apart as the rarest, and this example elevates that type to another level entirely. Graded as MS66 by NGC, it is a staggering conditional outlier and was sold at auction for $195,200. Struck at the height of imperial ambition, the Birds of Paradise 20 mark is the crown jewel of German colonial coinage, issued in 1895 for German New Guinea under William II. Its design pairs tropical elegance with medallic precision and has earned itself a reputation as one of the most beautiful coins ever made. This Proof 67 Ultra Cameo example is the finest proof known, and when it crossed the auction block, it managed to raise no less than $213,500 by final call. This gold Polish Constitution 5 zlotych stands amongst the greatest pattern rarities of the 20th century. Struck in 1925 to mark the 4th anniversary of Poland's March Constitution, it was an experimental statement of national identity immortalized in gold. Fewer than 4 such patterns are believed to exist today, and this 81-pilled border variety is presumed to actually be unique. Its pedigree only deepens the legend. Once a part of the King Farouk collection, a true crown jewel of Polish numismatics. Graded as SP63 by PCGS, it was sold at auction for $268,400. The Three Graces crown represents the purest expression of British numismatic art. Struck as a proof pattern in 1817, it marks the emergence of William Wyon as the defining artistic force of the Royal Mint. In a neoclassical vision inspired by Greek mythology, Wyon personified England, Ireland, and Scotland as the Three Graces, intertwined in a quiet assertion of unity and permanence. With an estimated mintage of just 50 coins, this Proof 62 Ultra Cameo example is the only one so designated, and achieved a closing price at auction of $292,800. As global trade expanded in the 18th century, silver became a weapon of economic influence. This fabled Greenland Dollar, struck at the Danish Asiatic Company, was Denmark's bold attempt to challenge Spanish dominance in Asian commerce. Modeled after the famous Pillar Dollar, this 1771 dated coin hides a subtle imperial signature, 3 island names beneath the twin globes, including Greenland itself. Rare in any condition, this MS66 NGC example stands as the finest known, justifying its closing price at auction of $414,800. As Britain fractured in civil war, coinage became propaganda. This Charles I Triple Unite, struck at Oxford in 1643 after the king's retreat from London, was meant to fund the royalist cause and project sovereign authority in a moment of crisis. Its reverse was blunt and paradoxical, invoking God, the Protestant faith, English law, and parliamentary liberty, even as Charles fought Parliament itself. Most were later melted, making survivors exceptionally rare. Graded MS63 by NGC, this imposing gold piece stands amongst the finest known and was sold at auction for $463,600. Most coins have descriptions. A date, a denomination, and perhaps a metal. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or something similar to that. But a very few coins are so ingrained in the collector's lexicon that they simply have a name. The Una and the Lion is just such a coin. Originally issued in 1839 to commemorate the inception of Queen Victoria's reign, it has become a touchstone of British numismatics in every conceivable sense, an epitome of the skill and talent of its engraver, William Wyon, a tribute to the optimism and ascendancy of what was about to become the Victorian age, and a masterclass in allegorical narrative art that continues to inspire even to this day. This absolutely magnificent example is today graded by NGC as Proof 66 star, Ultra Cameo, and was sold at auction for $915,000. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the landmark Paramount collection next. Right here. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.